Hello, ladies and gents, it's me. Who's me? Well, I'm Fee, and I am totally and utterly responsible for the Recovery Me page, site slash channel. So, what is Recovery Me? Well, Recovery Me is an opportunity that I noticed was developing over the last couple of weeks. So, really, I need to whistle stop you back by about 3 years. I would say the beginning of 2020, when the world was on the cusp of going insane, courtesy of COVID-19, I began to notice that my periods were becoming unmanageable. The level of blood loss was, in my opinion, no medical knowledge at that time, was horrific, and I was pretty much getting ready to go to my GP when we were told here in the United Kingdom that we would be going into lockdown. So I didn't go. Now, this is the point where you're probably going to go, well, why, Fee? Why didn't you bother going? And I genuinely felt that I'm not dying. I didn't see myself or class myself as being ill, but, there was something not right. The cycles had changed, so I just carried on. Managing it. Masses of sanitary products that I would get through every month. Pain relief was minimal because I hadn't been to a GP. So once we came out of the first lockdown, I then approached the GP, albeit via telephone, because you couldn't actually see them face to face at that time. And they said, I'd done a little bit of research, and I genuinely felt that I was suffering with something called menorrhagia. Menorrhagia is basically where you bleed too much each month. Now, that can have causes. It could be, you could have endometriosis, you could have fibroids. There could be a reason. You also can bleed too much for no reason. So at that point, I was placed on 2 different types of acid, and you're going to ask me what they are, and I genuinely can't pronounce them. So I'm going to try and find you the photograph on my phone, because I don't know what they are. The 2 types of acid were, one was a specific anti-inflammatory acid that I would only take whilst bleeding. The other was an anti-clotting acid, again, that you only take while bleeding. So we've got tranexamic acid. There you go. I don't know if you can see it. And mefenamic acid. Don't know. I don't know. 2 types of acid, okay? So again, you only take those while you're bleeding. And I have to say, the tranexamic acid, that's the anti-clotting one, absolutely helps. Definitely, it helped with the situation. It doesn't eradicate all of the symptoms that came with my periods. I had horrific PMT, but in the lead up to my periods. So I carried on. So that was 2020. And then 2021, March 2021, I just felt like I wasn't actually winning the battle with my periods. And I went back to the GP. And they said, look, you've tried the mini pill, which I had previously. That didn't really work very well. And you've got your acid. So let's try the coil. So I went away, ummed. There are lots of advantages, disadvantages, lots of scary stories about the Mirena coil. And I just thought, I have to try everything that I possibly can, because I am only 30. Well, at that time I was 38. I'm 38. I have a beautiful daughter who's 9, and I want to be able to be her mum. So in went the coil in March 2021. And I was really, really hopeful that this was going to slow my periods down, I mean, a small proportion of people, it does actually stop the periods. I never in my head thought that was actually what's going to happen. But I really hoped that it would slow the bleeding down to the point where I could be manageable and I could leave the house when I had my periods. You know, I could work, this type of thing. And while I was having the coil put in and in talks with the GP, this is where I found out that there's actually a kind of flowchart process that women have to go through if they are suffering with extreme periods, bleeding. And basically this flowchart is we need to try this, we need to try this, we need to try this, because not one specific treatment will suit every single lady. Everyone's different. Some women have hormone problems. Some women have PMT, horrific PMT problems. Some women, it is actually the period itself, you know, the level of blood loss. That's the problem. So there's this kind of, I don't know what the protocol is called. I don't know what the flowchart is called, but it does exist. So if you are on the pathway of having horrific periods, talk to your GP about this flowchart and go through each of them, ticking them off. Yeah, that works for me. No, that doesn't work for me. Oh yeah, a bit of that did. And so March 2021, the coil was inserted, and 2021 was a very big year for me. So I work for myself. I'm self-employed, but I also have written a book. Well, actually, I've written 2 books, but the first book was being published in October 2021. So, very big time for me, very exciting time, very happy time. And I can honestly say that the whole of the back half of 2021 was shrouded in sadness. I definitely didn't have depression. I didn't have anxiety. I almost felt like I'd have a death in the family, you know, when that level of sadness just sort of lingers over you. And the only thing that was new in my life was the coil. So, after fighting with a couple of GPs, no, it's not the coil. The level of hormone release is so minuscule that it won't impact you. And I sat with my GP and I said, Tom, it is. I'm telling you, I don't care how much you say to me the level of hormone release is so minuscule it won't impact you. It is. I am sad. So the hormone release clearly is enough to impact my mood. Again, not one size fits every female, okay? You have to listen to your body. The GP agreed to remove the coil, which was taken out in November. No, actually it was taken out at the end of October 21. At that point, I'd run out of things and options on the list, on the protocol, on the flow chart of possible supportive measures that can be given to you. So the GP made the referral to the gynecology department within the NHS to talk about a hysterectomy or other options. So that was October. Fast forward again, January 22, so January this year, it is now October 22. And I contacted the NHS and asked where I was on the list. Where am I? When am I likely to be seen? Because actually now this is horrific. My blood loss is having a major impact on my body. I'm developing tremors. I've developed vitamin B12 deficiency. I'm iron deficient. We're talking blood transfusions, iron infusions. I have to have the B12 injections. And I was told, so January, I was told it was unlikely I would be seen before November this year, so next month. And I said, is there anything I can do to fast track that process? And she said, well, you know, once you've seen the surgeon, you'll then have to go on to have further tests, and those tests would be including having a internal ultrasound, external ultrasound. Right, I said, I can do that. So I toddled off and I went and had a private ultrasound, internal and external. And I sent that off to my GP and I said, look, I've got this. This is going to help me move along the list, speed up the process. And then I would say March was the worst cycle I've ever had. People were telling me I looked ill. I felt ill. It looked like a murder scene. And I just realised that I wasn't going to get to November. I physically could not keep dealing with the amount of blood loss I was having and not having enough time between my cycles to recoup the amount of blood that I needed to lose the next time. So the decision was a very difficult one, and we went down the private route, and I went to see a consultant, and he was amazing, and he agreed to do a hysterectomy. I could have had an ablation. I could have, and anybody can. But in my head, I couldn't get over the statistic that it might not work. So an ablation obviously comes with success rates, and they are great, but there's also that element that it might not work. And because I work for myself, I need to only close once. I need to only impact on my family massively once. And if it doesn't work, then I'm still going to have the hysterectomy. So, fast forward to now, 2 weeks ago, I had a full and complete total laparoscopic hysterectomy. And this week, I should have had my period. And I didn't. So, over the next few videos, I'm going to talk to you about my journey from making the decision to have the hysterectomy, the preparation, what you need, what you don't need, the amazing resources that are out there, not only on the internet, but on social media that I tapped into, tips, hints, all of those things. I'm going to do loads of videos for you. And I'm also going to keep doing videos as I recover, so that you can hopefully, if you're going down this path, have a good and a better understanding. So don't forget, if you liked this video, you're gonna need to hit like for me. And then if you want to be nudged by YouTube every time I release a new video, don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you soon. Bye.